Good afternoon. At this time, Edgefield County Planning Commission is going to call our work session to order for March 11, 2021. At order at this time, we have no guest speaker, and we're going to old business. We're having old business, so our new business is our first item is prospective subdivision application for Hollow Oak, partial ID 176-000018-000 Sunnybrook Road and Fish Farm Road by JSMC Development, LLC, Philip Green, the project, PE with Southern Partner Incorporated. Here to join us. Are you here? Come up. You want to come up front, that way. Doing our work session on this. Good to see you, sir. Thank you. At this time, staff, you want to comment on this and bring it up to date what we have?
I'll let Mr. Green get into the specifics of the development. One interesting note on it is you can see that it's within both our jurisdiction and Aiken County's jurisdiction. How that works in terms of planning commission process would be it has to receive the approval of both planning commissions.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you, Mr. Green, correct? Yes, sir. If you want to address us with what you have here.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the opportunity. Hope you can hear me through the mask. As Mr. Singletary pointed out, we are across both counties, Aiken and Edgefield County. The main access will be off of Sunnybrook, which will require some paving within Aiken County. And then the road system will come back. That dashed line, I apologize, it's not labeled very well, but that is the county line. So everything on the north side there will be in Edgefield County. It also represents about the high point of the project. So the stormwater on that side will go to the back, detention pond in the back, and the stormwater in Aiken County side will come back towards Sunnybrook. Proposing minimum 1 acre lots. With the cul-de-sac going up into Edgefield County, and then of course that loop road coming back around and 2 access points on Sunnybrook.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
The concept plan shows half-acre lots.
Half-acre, I'm sorry.
Okay, I just want to clarify. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm working on a couple different projects at the same time. I got too many balls up in the air, I think. Half-acre lots. I'd be glad to answer any questions that the commission may have.
How many total lots are we looking at in Edgefield County?
Edgefield, it's about 43 in Edgefield County. That's sort of counting the ones that are majority of in Edgefield County.
How about water and sewer?
No water, no sewer.
No water, no sewer. So you're gonna have half acre lots, and each one of them's gonna be on a septic tank at 43 lots.
You said no water. You're gonna have to have wells.
No water, no sewer. That's correct.
Right, yes, okay.
So it is on a well, Philip?
Yes.
What's the total acreage of the site?
That's too small for me.
That's 57.17 acres.
What's going to happen to the large area back there you've got labeled detention? Is that going to be set aside somehow, or?
It is, just looking at the topography, there's not a whole lot of opportunity there for development.
Mm-hmm.
My thought would be to put the detention fairly close to the road and leave that back area natural.
And you are going to create a paved road connection to the road in Aiken County?
Yes. It'll be paved road with raised edge asphalt.
That road go back into Springfield, Church Road,
Yes, sir.
and what come out of Aiken County, what is it?
Right on Aiken County on Sunnybrook.
Sunnybrook, okay. What is
Sunny-
Sunny?
Sorry.
Okay. I was trying to figure out what Sunnybrook come back into 19, right? Or does it?
It ties into, Dragon's Lair.
Nicholson Road in Edgefield County.
In Edgefield, right, but I know. But I'm talking, when it come back in the Aiken County side, all your access gonna be on the Aiken County side, correct?
Yes, sir.
Right, okay.
But Sunnybrook is dirt all the way back out to Bettis Academy?
I believe it is all the way out.
I cannot speak in definite terms, but my understanding of the Aiken County regulations is that they would have to pave from their entrance to the intersection of Sunnybrook and Dragon's Lair, which is that intersection that you can see there.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin, with it being in two different jurisdictions, I guess this is more of a building code question than the development code. Is there any differences in there? And when you're straddling two counties, is there any concerns of what's going on there? Or how's that kind of done? Have you been through that?
It has to receive the approval of both jurisdictions. So they have to be approved by the Aiken County Planning Commission as well as the Edgefield County Planning Commission. In theory, they could be approved by the Aiken County Planning Commission and do that portion. And if they weren't approved by Edgefield, you know, they would be able to do the front portion. It'd be very difficult to do the Edgefield portion without the approval of Aiken County given the access. There are some other interesting things when you're on the line of that. For example, the taxes in terms of where they're paid is based off of the location of the master bedroom.
So have you presented this to Aiken County yet, or you in the process of doing it?
No, sir, I've sent this concept over to Aiken County. This layout falls within the current zoning of the property within Aiken County. The only reason I need to go to planning commission over there is for, plan approval, preliminary plat approval. But I have sent this to the planning director, Mr. Duke, for review of the overall concept.
Philip, do you know if it's going to have overhead electrical or underground? Or where the Dominion, I guess Dominion serves, or is this Aiken Co-op?
I'll be honest, I don't know this far out. My guess would be overhead.
On the road section itself, is it showing any, or is there any proposed sidewalks or street tree program or anything like that at all? Is it just a straight lot development?
Nothing proposed, just a 24-foot pavement with a 18-inch raised edge.
Has the developer proposed, kind of price points of houses or anything yet on what this is looking like?
Not yet, and I apologize, he can't be here tonight. He is under quarantine for the virus. Otherwise, he'd be here himself.
You don't have any examples of the types of houses he's gonna build or anything, like, you got anything to show us on the entrances, the driveway coming in, any lighting out there, any details around any of that?
Nothing that detailed yet, no, sir.
Commissioners, I will state that the prospective developer is JSMG Development. That's Ansley Cove, which you looked at last month. That is Rachel Avenue, next to the airport, and is associated with Carbon, which was Governor's Landing.
Kevin, does the current plan meet everything per Edgefield County?
The concept plan
current-
is in compliance with the zoning of the property.
It is in compliance.
Philip, do you know if they intend to have the lots perked ahead of time, or how they're gonna approach that?
I would anticipate it being typical, getting DHEC out there once we have some of the
After.
trees off the ground
Mhm.
and perk them as they go.
Okay.
Always run that risk of
situation where something won't work.
What the average well depth in that area, in the houses in that area, what the average well depth, do you know?
I'm sorry?
Average well depth for water, you know,
I don't know, sir.
for that area.
I don't know.
Kevin, do we know on the detention area, where the topo kind of heads down in that back gully area, what does that lead to? What does that, waterway kind of lead to? What's further down the line from there?
So our streams map doesn't show any data, however, it would not surprise me to see it feed right there.
Which is what, can we zoom in a little bit and kind of see? I guess you're about as far in as you can get. There's some smaller ponds and things of that nature there.
It seems to be that, either that or a strange shadow.
Yeah.
You have any more questions?
I don't, not at
You
this
know,
time.
you
You've
know,
not
at the
applied
time we
yet,
just-
right?
That's correct.
Right, we just take different information and we, you know, if nobody have
I
any,
think if you do apply, from my standpoint, I'd want a lot more details, you know, at the next meeting on price point of houses, type of construction you're looking at, the aesthetics, what type of entrances you're gonna have, and I would definitely encourage you, to look at your lot sizes. I think half-acre lots, you're gonna be on wells and septic, I think it ought to be bigger lots than half-acre lots for sure, so.
You know the soil type yet? Have you done a soil analysis on it yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
what was that saying? Mhm. Okay, well, you have anything, Ms. Butler?
No, I do not.
Okay, we appreciate it, sir. Thank you. Say that, no public comment. Go ahead. No, sir, not tonight, not on this.
No public meeting on the agenda tonight.
Oh, so
It's just for, if you can,
ask questions of the PE here?
Not tonight, there's no public meeting tonight.
Oh.
If he applies, there would be a public meeting, right, Kevin? He's not applied for anything.
Yes,
So-
and the moratorium is still on for applications, right?
Well, it's not in effect yet, right?
Commissioners, if they do apply, there would be a public hearing at the regular meeting next month, and the moratorium is currently not under effect.
When does it go into effect? I thought it was in effect today.
Next Wednesday,
Huh?
a week from next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
And that can, as long as the Edgefield advertiser goes out as planned, it will be next Wednesday.
But my wife and I live across the street from this proposed development, okay? I just don't understand how they could say it's in compliance with less than an acre long.
Mr. Chairman, I would point out for the sake of minutes,
yes, sir, okay, all right, okay, good, thank you. Now we go down to item B, rezoning application for rural residential industrial development of Particle 145-000-03, 063, 64, 85, 86, 87, 88, and 89, and Rainbow Falls Road by William Ellis and Southern Felt Company. John Lewis, the president of Southern Felt, come to hear the John, the planning commission, do the wet session. Is he here? Yes, sir, come up.
Thank you for having me.
So you, have rezoned the application for the area that's your present Southern Felt Company that's adjacent to it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We've been there probably, as you know, for 33 years.
Right,
Southern
yes, sir.
Field expanded over the years, and there's 3.4 acres, 6 small parcels next to us that we're in the process of purchasing, and will probably be more likely be closed on that property within the next 30 days. Mr. Donald White's handling our closing in North Augusta, so we would love to have this rezoned as light manufacturing for an expansion that we have planned at Southern Phil.
So at this time, let's see, what that we have here, 2, 4, 6 lots. All those lots are come down in one area, just back at your present property, right?
That's
Okay,
correct.
that's
It's adjacent to us up Rainbow Falls
it.
Road.
Going back, okay. Residents present on that now, just like vacant lots?
It's just wooded.
Wooded area?
That's
Yes, sir.
correct.
Okay, all right.
We actually already own 1 acre in that wooded area, and we want to complete and buy the other 6 parcels.
Kevin, can you show us exactly what we're looking at there?
That's the acre we own presently.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Gotta give us,
Those properties
Triangle.
highlighted in yellow.
give it a triangle in there. Mhm.
And what's the total acreage?
3.42, I think is.
Do you know what your expansion is
We're,
going to
we're,
be?
we're under strategic planning, but we think it's going to be about an 80,000 square foot expansion. Roughly add 80 jobs to the county and to the community.
Is that based on just your general business growth, or is it based on some special new?
It's new markets that we're
Okay.
venturing in different markets. We're traditionally into air pollution control, our fabrics, but we're going into more of the, some of the PPE, medical type wipes and things of that nature.
Okay. How many jobs do you currently have?
We have 160 employees,
Okay.
give or take,
Okay.
changes, but give or take 4 or 5.
The 80,000-foot expansion, is that manufacturing or
A
storage?
combination of manufacturing and warehouse space.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you have a timeline?
We're a public company, owned by a public company, so we have quite an approval process. So what we expect after we purchase the land, probably be placing POs for the new building sometime in Q3, Q4 of this year. Yeah. We'll probably have either a Kolke Construction out of Augusta or Two State Construction out of Thompson. They'll both be bidding on the project.
Okay.
Kolke's done most of our work over the years. You guys know him.
Okay, you've already filed an application with the department?
Yes, sir, last week with
So
Mr.
they will be coming up in the next meeting, right?
Yes, sir, that'd be at the April meeting.
Okay, all right.
Kevin, what's just immediately around the property? I mean, other than his Southern Felt facility?
On pretty much all sides, you have residential properties. I believe it's a mobile home park off of Bell. There's residences right across from Rainbow Falls. There's a vacant property here, and I believe this property is also vacant.
And those are residences right along the left side there as well that almost butt up next to the plant, right?
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kevin, what's the buffer required against that residential property? You know, offhand?
I'll pull that up. So this would be considered a this would be a non-affluent producing industry, and the buffer requirement for single-family dwellings when in proximity to that type of industry is a type 4. And a type 4 buffer yard is a 25-foot buffer, 6 large trees, 8 small trees, and 36 shrubs. That's per 100 feet.
And you don't see any issue with the size of the building meeting those buffer requirements, right?
No, I don't think so, and I do lean on Kolke Construction to make sure that
Yeah.
we apply with all, or comply with all your, you know, permitting and approvals, so
I
we
would,
would situate the building where
I would note that in this instance, as a rezoning application, it'd be something that the planning commission would provide recommendation to county council on, and then they would have 3 readings along with their public hearing on the item. And then, when they were ready to actually do the construction, they would come through the building and planning department to get building permits. I believe, Doc, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, since it would be the expansion of an existing use, it would be not necessary to get planning commission approval for the expansion. Is that correct?
You have anything else? Aircraft, you have any comments on that? We item B rezoning application for rural residential to industrial development on a southern Felt.
Not yet. What was it, like, 8 or 9 parcels?
six parcels.
Six.
6 parcels, all adjacent?
That's correct.
All right, you have any plans to combine those parcels?
Well, yes, what we would do after we purchase, the closing should be within a few weeks, and what we'll do is get the whole property resurveyed and file it as one big property.
Okay.
With the county.
All right. Was there any issues by anybody on commission? Okay. All good?
We asked a few questions. It's about an 80,000 square foot building. And there's the parcels up there, you can see. It's adjoining their existing facility.
So existing is to the north and west?
Mhm.
Well, if you wanting to do that, I hope it's good news.
Adding jobs to the community, absolutely.
Commissioners, if I may, I've discussed this with Mr. Lewis. The comprehensive plan identifies this area as suburban land use, which does not permit industrial zoning. So one of the things that the commissioners will need to consider, if they do want to recommend to county council to rezone the property, they would also have to recommend an amendment to the comprehensive plan to change the land use on the property.
Look into that.
Well, it's off of 25. It's on a secondary road. Is that what we consider secondary?
Glad he mentioned that.
What's behind it? What are those 4 structures to the south of that triangle?
Those are manufactured housing.
Okay.
We actually have a couple employees that live there.
Okay. It's shorter to work.
Oh, yeah, they could just walk through the forest.
Any more questions, comments? If not, we appreciate it, sir. We get this information, and we look forward to further discussion on it.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Item C, comprehensive plan reexamination for county council resolution number 2021-1136 at the March 2nd, 2021 county council meeting. The resolution is a request for the planning commission to reexamine the section of the comprehensive plan that was changed at third reading and approved by the current plan in June 2019. Specifically, the East State residential element and the suburb residential element. The planning commission is being asked to provide a recommendation concerning these, should these sections be changed to the ordinary wording. This is what we have for us on that. I think most of you are familiar with it, and discussion and so forth.
So are we re-examining it here at the meeting, or have we already re-examined it at home?
Well, I hope you've been doing me flipping it over at home as well, and we can kind of iron the kinks out, and then when we go into our meeting, we can make a decision, send back to county council, because this is just a work session.
Yeah, no,
So now,
this is an examination. We're taking no action on this today, or are we gonna do that, I guess, during the meeting maybe?
in the meeting, we'll take action.
Okay.
So that we wanted to try to get the fine kinks out now, if possible, so there's a discussion on the, better have any.
Yeah,
Before we go.
I put a few things together, notes out a little bit of help. I could pass these down to council, but kind of goes over a few important points.
Okay.
Commissioner Ashcraft.
Yes, sir. Oh,
For the benefit, well, but for the benefit of the minutes, would you mind briefly summarizing this documentation?
Right.
well, I'd really just rather read it.
Okay, go ahead, we get,
All right, as said in the document, we got two specific sections of text now the planning commission is examining. Since we're, what's the word? Since we're re-examining, Kevin, I'd like to ask, are these two sections that are in the packet, are those the only parts that were changed at that meeting?
Yes, my understanding is those were the changes that county council made at that meeting. I will also note that is the specific
Yeah.
recommendation that they're looking for in terms of on those. So if there were other changes, which I do not recall, but if there were, they're not asking for recommendation from the commission on those.
Oh, they're not?
If there was anything other than that change.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
the other stuff,
Yeah.
if it exists. Well, if I make a motion.
we
in-
gonna make motion in the work session here, we just discussing.
Correct. If I make a motion in the meeting to come, or somebody beats me to it, then during discussion, I'll certainly make a motion to amend the original motion, that the language would go back as it was March 17th, 2019, instead of just these two sections. I just want to make sure that everything's covered. I don't think anything else has been changed, right? Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, can't breathe with this thing on. We're being asked to decide whether or not to remain with text written 9, is that 9, was it 9? Yeah, 9 May 2019. Revert to the original text written 17 March 2019. I indicated as a citizen level review because, I feel like I'm a citizen here with the title. I kind of am representing a council person and her citizens and really every citizen in the county. This opinion is based solely on text being reviewed today, so just this document. I've recalled in meetings where both versions of this text have been referred to as flawed. So I don't know if anybody's going to try to argue that, well, the old language is flawed and the new is not. But it has been referred to by experts, not you. Because I could hear the question in your mind, well, who? That both versions are flawed. In my opinion, with the recent uproar and certainly looking at the text more carefully, I would choose to change it back. Anyway, is everybody all right with this? All right. Yeah, we got a crowd out there without. Good to see you. Anyway, so you were asked to choose between two flawed tests. Neither option encourages development that honors the rural character of this county or encourages less congestion. Something desired by current residents weighing in on the plan. We've certainly heard that. I think probably throughout the comprehensive plan, we need more language, pepper the document with our intent of keeping our area in a rural fashion. Like the overlay districts, it's a bad word with a lot of people, but if commission ever wanted to push overlay districts, I've got my ideas on that too. I just think that right now as written, they're too strict. Although I'm saying let's keep it rural, contradicting myself, right, on strictness of the overlay. In both cases, old text or new text, utilities or similar factors determine development. Now I don't want to dive into this, so I'd really rather have just read, the preamble there. But I personally, if during the break between the work session and actual meeting, if my fellow commissioners would just read through this as quick as you can, and you kind of get an idea for yourself. And I'm sure everybody's read it, but I wanted to break this out because the way the letter was written back explaining all this is really confusing, and my iPad looks like a third grader was drawing, red and blue lines and circles and arrows and stuff on it, just so I could keep track of, what was being referred to as old and new and all that. But, in the end, really didn't need that. I just wanted to be able to clarify and be able to write this document to make it more clear. So anyway, and this got done today, so no slight to Kevin. Kevin's the guy, if I wrote this 5 years ago, he would have looked at this. 5 days ago, he would have looked at this. So still have an oxygen deficit. So anyway, that's really all I have to say. I'll stop babbling and let somebody else talk.
Yeah, I'd like to interject and I haven't seen your letter and everything, but just so you know, as the Planning Commission, you have the ability to re-examine the comprehensive plan. Usually it's every 10 years, but you can do it more frequently. So this is really one of those re-examinations. Council made this request to you because all examinations of the comprehensive plan start with the Planning Commission, not with County Council. So that's why you received this request, because they couldn't start it on their own. Now, you have several options, just so you know. You can re-examine, make the changes however you want. You can re-examine other parts of the comprehensive plan if you want to. But council specifically wants you to look at these changes. You can also make no changes. That's completely up to you, and that would be the recommendation given to council, and then they can decide on matters. But the action actually starts with you, and that's what this is.
Yeah, if I can have 30 more seconds.
Yeah.
I personally feel like we've been told to carve a statue and we were given a mountain. They should at least cut it down to a block that, that the statue exists in. If it was my druthers, looking at the old steering committee, it looked like it was basically the planning commission, plus a few people. I would like to weigh a new steering committee heavily to the citizen side. It is just a steering committee. Then we can decide on what we do, but I would like to have representatives from all the people that are so concerned on a steering committee to take this whole thing back, and they discuss and they carve and cut this thing out, maybe with our direction, but what we were left with, I don't think should be in our laps. This LMO is absolutely huge. And if it was up to me and all I had was a hatchet, I'd chop off all the, is it blue or purple?
So I have a quick question, if I
Yeah,
may.
sure.
You're referring to the LMO, not the comprehensive plan?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I apologize.
Okay.
I
Okay.
crossed subjects there, yeah, so LMO. But yeah, that's part of it. I think that, and we're not even on that subject. It's still the same point of aggravation for me, so that's why I jumped tracks there. But, I think, we do another steering committee for this LMO. Sorry, that was an accident.
If I could.
Thank you, Kevin, I appreciate it.
Sure. If I could interject, in the memorandum during the staff analysis, we do give staff's viewpoint on this, and our advice, which would be to provide specific recommendation, like you mentioned, on what council has asked you to review. However, I'm aware of other aspects of the comprehensive plan that commissioners on an individual level are interested in possibly fine-tuning and making adjustments to. I would say at a future meeting, we could put those together in a separate recommendation to council for their consideration to the comprehensive plan.
Okay. Like I said, sorry for jumping tracks.
So I think that the main issue now, this particular item we have here, this paragraph that we're concerned with, to get this back to them probably as soon as possible. Right, and then we can, you know, cause we don't, I know, well, anyway, any more? You have anything?
Kevin, I've got a question. On the original text on the state residential, it says the overall density of residential development is projected to be about 1 house in 5 acres. However, the minimum lot size in this land is assumed to be approximately 2 acres. I'm trying to rectify what that's really telling me. Can you explain that?
I would reference John Ford's letter. One of the things, and you see it in the memorandum that I requested, was once council passed that resolution, to get John Ford, the author of the document's perspective on it. And I mentioned in my memo, I think there's been an extreme amount of confusion caused by the language used in those two, you know, in both versions of the comprehensive plan for those sections. And maybe one of the things that the commissioners would want to consider if looking at in closer detail would be a rewrite of those sections to provide more clarity. But referencing his last paragraph in his letter, I quote, "The density numbers in the original 31719 text were not intended to be minimum lot size. The intent of identifying an average density was to help guide applicants, decision makers, and community advocates evaluate the applications for development density compared to the land use area recommended by the adopted plan. The average density also provides decision makers and utility providers with information regarding the levels of service that should be provided over the next 20 years by multiplying the land area by the number of units that can be expected to develop." So from my understanding, what you have in that reading of the comprehensive plan is a recommendation of an average density for that entire land use area, and then a specific item of what the typical average minimum lot size you would see is within that land use area. One thing that's always important to remember is that zoning dictates minimum lot size, not the land use plan. So it really is supposed to inform what zonings you locate within that land use area.
He said we not, you finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Unless you have any questions.
Is that the same piece for the suburban residential, same aspect, same application in that point there?
I would say yes.
I think basically it's, you said, so I mentioned, it's, confusion that been created and, added to and taken away from and so forth, and from talking to people and what I've heard and so forth, and that what been passed on, that we probably need to, in the future, break things down a little more, understand them, it won't be attorney language. I know I was law working, legislating, and everything. Now you got attorney language, I call it. You know, you can't break it all the way down to everyday language, but you can't do that. But we need to kind of fine tune it a little more to get understanding for the people that don't really. I'm shocked that I didn't realize people didn't read. I thought, you know, because I'm a reader, and I've been reading over 70-something years, you know. And I didn't realize people didn't read. I didn't realize people didn't take newspapers. I didn't realize people didn't watch the news. And I was just shocked, you know, they said a miss key of not getting information. I couldn't see why you couldn't get information with what was going on in these days and time and everything we had, the media and all that. And then I found out people just wasn't, from the phone calls that I received and all, people don't take papers. You don't take papers. I read 4 newspapers a day. I don't watch the news. I watch 3 or 4 news a day, not just Edgefield, everywhere, you know, and that's the way I do, but I thought everybody did that. I didn't know people didn't take the Edgefield advertise even if you put it in there. I didn't realize that we put up a zoning plat in an area out there that nobody read it except a few people. And I couldn't, you know, like I said, you know, ignorant excuse for ignorant to the law, that's what we always say in courts and all, but this is just, what we living in, and I don't know what the solution is to that, so we just got to, make decisions and go on with them.
Rodney, if I could make just a question, if I read this right on your front page, it says you are asked to choose between law text. Is that, you're choosing between the original and the revised?
Yes, sir.
Or is that what it is? So
Yes, sir.
basically, you're saying both the original and the changes that were made on both sections, you're saying that
Yeah, no, I don't think they're perfect.
it's not either or, it's
No,
and, that
no.
they're both flawed is what
They're-
your
yeah,
point is,
yes,
what you're
sir.
trying to say.
Yes, sir. Either decision we make is flawed. Just my opinion, I think the original text is less flawed. So, if we back up with that and start over again and all these changes originate from the planning commission where they should, then we can move forward and make better decisions, I think.
I agree on that. I agree with you on that too.
If I may add, I will say that the version that is the first version that that council could potentially change back to was the version that was recommended by the planning commission to council.
Right.
Back then.
So it seems that, we'd like to, we go to our regular meeting, we'll take a decision on a vote on it, but, it seemed that, I don't see no reason why we can't recommend to the county for the original text to be as it was, and like I said, go on from there. My idea from getting better and all, the more I look at it, the more that's convincing me that's about the best thing to do, opinion. And then we just move on from there. Any more comments? If that it, I think that would take care of our work session. So we're adjourning for the 15 minutes or so, and we're going to our regular meeting. Meeting adjourned. Work session adjourned.
Yes, sir. Howdy. You look familiar. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah. I've got as many copies as Yeah, yeah. Well, the second one leaves a lot to interpretation, and,
In other words, you can interpret one way, I can interpret another, and the sound people got another interpretation.
correct.
So, honestly,
Yes, ma'am.
we will see.
Yeah.
I don't
So
like
you
the
get
kind
it.
of,
All right. Right.
I kind of,
Well, what's going on, stranger? Yeah, I know. I was like, I looked down there. I looked down there and I said, Rocky don't look right. Well, I think he looks like you, so. Well, I was impressed my neighbor was showing up, but I don't know now. Where do you live at? Where you at? Okay, yeah, it's not far away at all. Okay. Yeah.
There's another
Wow.
copy on the.
What's happening
backside.
with all that clear?
All right,
Oh,
thank you.
gosh, need money. Yeah. Right. Yeah, we hadn't heard anything about it, so I figured it was just a financial decision.
Well, how's Live Street?
Hey, Kevin,
Yes.
I would disagree with you. We will still get along at the end of the day.
I would hope so.
Because I need you.
I kinda miss it.
Look,
I don't mean that to sound creepy.
no, I will say this.
Right. You've been watching it. Well, there's, yeah.
Here's what I'll say, They need a zoning that says it's not allowed. Let's say that's the case. That doesn't leave us with any confidence. There's nothing that we can do. Here's what I will say. So, what specific?
Yeah, no,
Yeah, like
on what
what do you,
parcel,
yeah,
right?
well, no, I mean, what restrictions are you concerned about specifically? Because right now, the commission has the draft out, and they have the ability to change it. Correct.
By the time I get a promotion, I went in, I tried.
Like, what does it say? Like, what does it specifically say? The reason I'm asking is because it's a larger document, as you're aware.
Yeah, and that's just freezing your conversation right here. That's a huge part of contention, is because there's so much
Yeah.
that the normal guy doesn't, he can't.
Well, and what I'll say is that, I would think this way, the document the steering committee gave to the planning commission is ready to be splashed, right? Because here's the thing, most of it is your current regulations, and some of it is regulations taken from other communities that have been added in. And then the commission can then go through and determine like, okay, how do we want to reword that, how do we want to do this, et cetera. Well, I'll say this, something like shed size is not, well, I'll say this, from my memory, that document. Well, the comprehensive plan is not law. The comprehensive plan is not law. State law dictates you cannot enforce the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan is exactly that, it's a plan. Well, no, county council can make that change.
And you know, and it matters who we vote for. I'm chairman of the GOP, so if you want to make sure we have the right politicians in place, come to my meetings. You know? Right. Yeah. But, so what he's talking about is council changing things
Yeah.
and.
Well, I'll put it this way.
It can happen anytime, right? I mean, it could
County
happen.
councils can change any local law at any point in time with 3 readings of public hearing.
Oh, we have prisoners.
Yeah, typically, well, I don't know what y'all is, right? In reference towards me.
Hey, I hate to say it, but I'm part of y'all, so.
So I'll say
Correct,
this.
yeah, yeah.
I'm And since COVID, they're not allowing them to do it. We have a litter control officer who I believe is looking into setting up a volunteer program.
Yeah, I seen, yeah.
And then yesterday, no, this morning, I went to Edgefield. Let them,
I have to watch out for David McLean on Five Notch, he's always picking up trash. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be great if there was a community group that got together and organized to take care of it. But one of the things I was gonna say to you, going back to that shed thing, is that there's, in the LMO draft, there's no zoning that restricts things like shed size. I would assume that if there is anything like that, it's
So,
one of the overlay districts.
gardening, being prepared, sewing, all that stuff.
I don't care what they do. I got a son in the world. They won't come out and do it. One day if they do say.
Well, let me,
No, if it ceases use.
but they might one day want it,
Do you know
right?
what the, do you know what the zoning, do you know what the zoning was on your property?
It's probably your rural agricultural. He's on Indian
Yeah,
Ridge.
I mean, that would be a permitted accessory use. You're in a state.
Y'all bypassed Timmy Kelly's land.
Like I said, when the line was being drawn,
Yeah, there's some,
when the line was being, like, all that was being done on a 30,000, type thing. I drew the lines. I didn't look at these people's properties.
yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. Bit of trivia, I don't expect you to know it. How many parcels are in Edgefield? You might know.
It's 27, no, that's the population. It's over 30,000.
30,000. So, in his defense, I don't defend Kevin much, right? But, it's a lot of parcels to look at. And I've seen some industrial that I have questions over too, so I'll give you a call. Right.
Right.
There had to be a reason.
Well, like I said, so the map I was drawing didn't have creeks on it.
Didn't have what?
No, my base map didn't have creeks on it. It was a road line.
So the parcel line meandered like a creek and you followed the meander.
I think, if I remember the property correctly, if I remember, well, those are parcel lines. Those aren't drawn lines, those are the parcel boundaries. If I remember correctly, where your property is, I was doing the line off of an intersection. Yeah. Yeah, I believe so.
Those are the kind of things
But
that,
here, let me, if I can interject. I think I told you that day when we met, it's like, yeah, I thought you were correct, and the other zoning, it makes more sense.
all the lines are close together. When we were doing nighttime land nav in the Army, I didn't like to see those lines.
Well, let me express the condition of the commission. The commission has to recommend a document to the council. So my advice for everyone, when they have specific concerns, is to get it to the commission, so when they're making edits, they have that information available.
No, they,
Well, like I
hey,
said,
that's,
yeah, I
that's,
agree.
that's something I could take. That's, well, that's something we could, right, no, that's something that we could change. And some other things I'd like to look at are grandfathering, because say if somebody's, doing a business on a property and say the dad passes away and the son lives in New York, well, he comes back in 4 years, he thinks he's gonna do what his dad did on that property. Not, well, I'm just saying that, I have an issue with, because not everybody knows, somebody might inherit property here and they don't know the statutes of limitation. So I would wanna get rid of, these time limits if, unless it's sold.
Well, I was gonna say, we can get into that later, but that creates a huge can of worms.
Okay. Well, I mean, we need to
Yeah.
know, so.
Like a planned development?
Well, just whatever they want, I mean.
Well, if
develop
county
it.
council involved, it's a planned development.
Okay. Well, he doesn't, so our commission or planning commission or.
Right, well, what I would say is that the planning commission, yeah, only in the instance of a planned development can council dictate the specifics of the development. Outside of that, they're just reviewing compliance with code.
Yeah. And you know what? I could go to commission with that, right?
Sure.
So, yeah, I mean, I can. Right. Right, they're not held accountable. Yeah, they're not accountable in their community.
They're not gonna sell it. Cause your son might not be as your view.
Yeah, right.
Okay, about time to get started. All right.
I think the language that I was talking about earlier does lighten it up on developers.
All right, let's,
Hey,
Make some good points.
hey, Rocky knows my phone number, so. Okay. I'll try to. You know, I never got back with her. I need to call her and find out what she wants. I know she's mad at me by now, but.
about 1 minute.
I get it.
Okay. These conversations at times be moved on it.
I know it.
Sorry for taking up all your space.
Good afternoon. This time we're going to Edgefield County Planning Commission. I'll call our meeting for March 11, 2011 at 6 p.m. Appreciate everyone coming in order and so forth. We're going to call it to order at this time. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity for us to gather here once again, and we pray that God, as usual, that you'll just watch over us and guide us and lead us, that we are not personally involved, dear God, but do what is at hand to try to do what's best for this county, and that we'll be able, Heavenly Father, not be forced by pressure or whatever, but we'll be on our decisions that we make, that we'll hold to the facts, that guide us and keep us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance. I need a motion for approval of the agenda for tonight for March 11th. Can I get a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second?
Motion and second that we approve the agenda for the night, and it would stand as, all in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, ayes have it. Now we have minutes before us. You see, I hope you signed those off. We go. Approval of the minutes for January 27th work session meeting. I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Motion and second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you. I need approval for the February 11th work session meeting. Motion and second.
Motion.
Motion second. All in favor, right hand. I need a motion and a second for the approval of February 11th meeting minutes.
Motion.
All in favor, right hand. Thank you. All motion stand on the three approvals of the minutes. Guest speaker, no guest speakers. We go down to reports. Our first reported land management ordinance, the LMO, community small group meetings. Update is coming from the staff on the number of individuals who have signed up to participate in the scheduled the district level meeting. Yeah, bring us up to date, Kevin, on that.
Yes, sir. I've had to flag emails and go back to them and get everyone set up. At current, we have 112 individuals signed up. I probably have 2 or 3 emails I still haven't logged, but so let's assume 2 for each of those emails. So you could be looking at 116 so far signed up. The period's still open, and if you look at the next report item, postcards are planned to go out, so that should see that number go up as well.
Okay.
And we're sending a postcard to go out to every resident of the county, correct?
Every property owner.
Every property owner, right, okay.
And it's gonna be a garden. Okay, good. When do you want to start sending those out? You haven't started already, have you?
I do not
Okay,
know.
okay.
I believe that's being handled through the admin office.
Mr. Chairman, we have executed contract with the vendor, and they should go out in the next couple of weeks. That's what we've been told.
You had that money available to do that, no problem?
The county council contingency
Oh,
account.
okay, right, yes, sir, okay, thank you. All right, any questions, comments on what we have here? We look forward to working with staff on that and what we'll do in the future on that.
Kevin, what was the last time, or what's kind of the projected time to close the sign-up time? What was that again?
I believe that they put in the message they sent out was 30 days after the date of posting. However, with the postcards going out, I suspect that they would want those to have a chance to be out there and then for people to respond to them. So
Okay.
I do not know if they've identified a specific day where people will no longer be able to sign up.
Council set that date, is that correct, county council?
Yeah, what they put out on the website, I believe, stated a specific date. However, once again, I do not know of a day that they've identified as a cutoff.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
if I could, I think even if there is a date, the intent on these small groups is to let everybody that wants to participate in a small group, participate in a small group. So if there is a deadline, and I'm just pulling a date, say July 1, and somebody called up July the 3rd, we would make every accommodation to have that person attend that meeting.
Okay, that'd be good, right? Okay. Any more comments? All right, if not, that should take it item 1 and 2 on the A. A moratorium on the major subdivision at the March 2nd, 2021 County Council meeting. County Council approved the first reading of ordinance number 2021-1137 as amended. The ordinance said this: this ordinance would prohibit Edgefield County from receiving any new plans for a major subdivision for 90 days. The ordinance would not affect the issuing of building plan of final plat approval for subdivision that have been previously been approved by the planning commission. You have a further comment on that, staff?
I would just make 2 comments. The first one being that my understanding, and the administrator can correct me if I'm wrong, but the moratorium would technically go into effect at the moment the public hearing is announced for the second reading. And my second comment would be, if you look at the original text, what the amendment was they removed minor subdivisions from the moratorium.
It'd just be major subdivision, right? Okay.
Yeah, and made it just exclusively major subdivisions.
And when you say announced, you just mean when it's put in the newspaper, correct? Okay,
Under the pending ordinance.
Right.
Once that ad runs.
Any comment, Ms. Pat?
No, sir, I was referring, I was wanting the attorney to respond to that.
Yes, sir, okay, thank you. All right, I think that's, that's in order. No problem with it. We don't need a motion or anything on that, I don't think, that just, that's for
Yes, sir, just a
information.
report.
We don't have any old business. New business. Our new business is, what we have at hand here is, comprehensive plan reexamination for county council resolution number 2011-1136, the March 2nd, 2021 county council meeting. The resolution, this resolution is a request for the planning commission to reexamine the section of the comprehensive plan that was changed at third reading and approved of the current plan in June 2019, especially the East State residential element and the suburb residential element. The planning commission has been asked to provide a recommendation concerning should these sections be changed to the original wording. Open for discussion.
the only thing I'll say, Mr. Chairman, is, I know the wording didn't really change as far as what could or couldn't be done, but the original wording is what the planning commission, recommended to county council. I feel like it shouldn't have been changed without coming back to planning commission. So therefore, I feel like we should go back to the original text, since that's what was recommended to start with.
I agree, Brett.
I agree.
All right. Okay, and my feelings are the same, that I have no problem with this. And, if it's all in order, if we don't have any more discussion, we already discussed it, that we, recommend that they change it back to the original. If someone would give me a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to, change back the text to the original, text from March 17th, 2019.
Can I get a second?
Second it.
Any discussion?
That is for both
What
paragraphs.
category, right?
Now, I interpreted that to be the whole document. I mean, is that,
That is for both paragraphs that we have
okay?
before us right now.
Still open for discussion. Any more discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion of the resolution that is before us that changed back to the original that was presented. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposers? Ayes have it. It's in your power. Any comments on it? Okay, good, all right. Okay, we got let's see, we got Plan Commission review. Plan Commission review.
You just reviewed it.
That's it, okay. All right, I need any comment from anybody else? I think I made most comment with what I just want to say this, gentlemen, we kind of like the hamburger in the middle of two buns. You got mustard and ketchup, and when you start eating it, start sliding. So what we're gonna have to do is hold tight, hold firm, and I know you got perfect pressure on you. 'Cause I felt like throwing in the hat. I give it throwing in the hat, and that's not the answer. In fact, one of the people that called me after talking to her 2 hours, she wrote me out for everything it was, and I said, "You want me to quit?" No, we don't want you to quit though. So we're gonna hang in here, and we're gonna do what's set before us, and let's don't let the perfect pressure, nobody pressure, make us to make decisions, but let's make firm decisions together and try to hold this thing together in trying times. Let's try to work together. I know can't get emotional, and it's gonna be kind of rough. It might not be as rough as we think, but I'm looking forward to. I know before it got rough, I talked to some of my old people about 25 years ago when it got rough. So if I made it through that, I can make it through this. And along with you and all working together with our attorney and the staff, we can make it. We'll make it. We'll do what we'll listen to the people, and then we'll make the best decision. We see. I'm anxious to see just how much the percentage that we get from different areas. Because we can't let one area dictate this whole county. We can't do that. Even if people refuse to come, it's not our problem. But we got to look at the whole percent and let's get a percentage of what we got. We might get a good percentage out of areas that we haven't gotten it out. But if people don't come and do it, we just got to do what we got to do. That's it. All right, meeting adjourned.
Fab, could we get a?
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'm too fast. Motion second, all in favor, right hand. I got here, I got so carried away. Yeah.
Yeah, really. That's the first one.
Mr. Butler.
Mr.
Arlene, that's my fighting name.